What's up, everybody? Welcome in.
This is Charlie Waffles and Catnair with the AFC EASTIE boys.
AFC EASTIE boys.
Yeah.
Alright, so a couple weeks ago we brought to you a few predictions. We were running out of time, so we did it. The presentation, it was like really whacked. It took a whole lot of time. We don't want to take up that much of y'all's time to go over each of these teams, so we're going to try and go through this a little bit differently this time. But we will be dropping the videos in our new YouTube channel, AFC EASTIE Boys, no spaces, all caps. Go subscribe on YouTube. Maybe we'll drop a link in the chat.
Right down there.
Go and subscribe. You know what I'm doing that?
Which one?
The link in the chat.
Link in the chat. Yeah, we can do that.
So yeah, so hit that link, go subscribe. We'll be dropping all these videos over the coming weeks before the season starts. We're also going to be covering some fantasy football for you guys the closer we get. We did a mock draft last year. I'm pretty sure we'll do another mock draft again this year. It was pretty fun. What you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The mock draft we did last year was pretty cool. We got a lot of talk about it. Got to talk to a few people. A lot of people didn't agree with us, but that's okay. I mean, Christian McCaffrey still did me very well last year in the season, so all thumbs up from me.
Thumbs up. Speaking of thumbs up, don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow, all of that stuff.
Like and subscribe to the AFC EASTIE boys right here on YouTube.
So the Baltimore Ravens went we 13-4, and the Steelers went 9-8. Yes. So next up, we're going to be covering the Bengals and the Browns. Which one you want to start with?
I guess we'll start with the Bengals because I think they're the more popular team as far as between the two. They start week 1 against the Patriots at home. I'm foreseeing a W in that category there. I think the Bengals, with even without Mixon, are still going to come over strong against the Pats. Not that anyone else is thinking otherwise.
Yeah, no, I mean, Pats are in rebuild mode right now. We'll get into that later. That's for another video. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to have somewhat of a new identity this year. They got rid of Joe Mixon, so their running back room is pretty different. They have DeAndre Swift. I would say that he is a little bit better than Joe Mixon as far as productivity goes. So they're going to get a few wins early in the season. I feel like they're going to come off to a really hot start, and they're going to rack off a few wins, and then they're going to run into a couple teams that just.
Swift came from the Lions last year.
Yeah.
And they put up a good show last year too. But again,
yeah.
So week two, Bengals at Chiefs. The way I see it is not the way it's written down here. I don't think the Bengals are going to come through and beat the Chiefs at home, but we have a W written down here for Bengals.
All right, so it's early.
Help explain that one to me.
All right, so it's early in the season, and it's like I said, early in the season, the Bengals are going to be coming off to a very hot start. Joe Burrow is coming off his injury, like not a very good performance last year, and honestly, the Cincinnati Bengals have had the Chiefs' number for the last couple of years. They know how to beat Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be early in the season. Patrick Mahomes is going to be coming off of a big high after beating Baltimore in week 1 at home already. So I just think that the Bengals are going to outperform. It's not going to be like a shutout. No, it's going to be a win by a field goal or a touchdown. And it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be high scoring. I just think the Bengals are going to get the job done like they have the past 3 years.
Not to break your heart, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I personally think that the Chiefs are not going to lose their first 2 games in the season. Yes, they're going to lose to the Ravens. That's going to happen. People want it to happen. It's written in the NFL script, baby. But Bengals and Chiefs, nah. Mahomes is going to come back out game 2, aggravated and upset that he lost game 1 to Lamar Jackson, and he's going to come out and he's going to put up some big numbers fast on the Bengals defense. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, we're going to have to definitely edit a lot of that out.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs whooped the Baltimore in week 1.
Oh, okay. Right. Oops. I read that wrong.
It's all
Next
gravy. It's all gravy. We've already had our background conversations about a lot of these games and stuff. Anyways, it's like we have our personal feelings, but some of this came down to like we gotta leave our personal feelings out of it and just break it down to like past history, like teams, like changes, things like that. Like you'll see once we get to the Buffalo Bills and like teams like the Seattle Seahawks and why their record is going to change. The Jets. Their record is going to change from one year to the next year. It's because of drastic changes to the roster. Yeah. And coaching. Too. There's a lot of coaching changes.
Moving on.
All
right. So next up, we got the Commanders and the Bengals in Week 3.
The Bengals are definitely going to win that one. Commanders are somewhat in a rebuild mode. I mean, they're not a bad team. They do have Terry McLaurin over there. They did pick up a couple running back pieces.
Yeah, but that's like one wide receiver and nobody to throw it to him.
They picked up another receiver. What was his name? Give me 1 second. I'll look it up. I have it.
But even then, they got the quarterback there. Was it Howell? Sam Howell?
Yeah.
He I don't know.
So, I mean, the Commanders are not going to be great, but they're not going to be bad.
He's not making a name for himself, really.
The Bengals win it, either way. Like, we don't have to go into it. The Bengals are going to win that game. They're just going to outperform them, like, defense, offense. Oh, Austin Eckler is who they picked up for their running back room over in Washington. And then their receiving room they picked up, it was... That was it.
That's it.
That was it. So
I mean, that gives them a little bit more core strength as far as a pass catcher out of the backfield with Eckler. But at the same time,
I don't know. Eckler's fallen off drastically from a couple years ago. He's getting a little bit older. He's suffered a couple injuries. I mean, he's going to be good for them, but he's not going to be game changer. He's not going to they're not going to win games.
He's no Derrick Henry.
Yeah. He's not a game changer like Derrick Henry would be for the Baltimore Ravens. All right.
Moving on.
So
we got, next up, what is it? The Panthers at home against the Bengals.
A little lackluster Panthers. We have Bryce Young coming into his second year. They have Adam Thielen over there. I don't see the Panthers doing too much. They didn't make a whole lot of moves this offseason as far as defense goes. It's an easy win for the Bengals, and they stay on a hot streak.
I was gonna say so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row they've won so far.
They stay on
looking
and they go home
impressive.
And the Ravens come into Cincinnati and lose to Cincinnati. Another tough game.
After both teams went on a 3-win streak.
Yeah.
Well, 4 for Cincinnati, but...
A tough game comes down to just the Bengals want it more at this point. And then they travel to the Giants and get a W there. And it looks like that's where it ends for a while.
And that's a Sunday night game against the Giants. So they're gonna beat the Giants up Sunday night in New Jersey. In Jet Stadium, just so you know, and then they go back on the road for what we're gonna assume is a very hard, brutal road. First off, they're going back to the Browns in Cleveland, and they're gonna catch an L there. Not a good one. It looks like it's gonna be probably a close nail biter, but Browns are gonna take that.
definitely see the Browns winning that one. When they go and they play the Eagles, Eagles with Saquon Barkley, he's going to help the Eagles' run game out a lot. He's going to give a lot of options for them over there.
Jalen Hurts is going to get a little more time with the ball because they're not going to be sure if he's going to hand it off or throw it immediately.
Right. Gotta watch out for those flea flickers.
Oh yeah. Not to mention Saquon can throw them too, can he?
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget about the tush push.
Oh yeah. They always got that one extra yard they can get every time.
And that's how the Eagles win the game, with a tush push for a touchdown.
Eagles tush push for the victory. Moving on.
Moving on. And then the Bengals are just like beat up at this point. Honestly, I think Burrow got injured in the Browns game, and this is why you see this stretch of L's.
Poor guy gets back from an injury and then re-injures himself. Oh man, I better shut up.
So the Raiders of all teams actually upset them, get a W there. So they lose to the Raiders. And then they go into Baltimore this time, and Lamar Jackson and company, Derrick Henry, they're pissed off from the first loss that they suffered in Cincinnati, so they whooped their ass. And then they travel to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, which is an interesting story. We're going to get into that one next.
Bengals at the Chargers? Yeah.
But the Chargers are going to win that game. They're going to beat the Bengals, and then the Bengals get a rest. They get a bye week.
They get a rest for a bye week, and then they come back right after that bye week and play the Steelers at home. So I think they're going to pull up a W there finally because they're all well rested. You know, maybe that's the week Joe Burrow comes back from injury. Again.
Yeah.
And they get a W there. And then we got, what is this? Bengals at Cowboys. It looks like an email.
Dak Prescott, I don't think he's going to get his deal done before season starts. So Dak Prescott is kind of going to be on a mission. But he's Dak Prescott.
A mission to show why he's worth the money he's asking for.
Exactly. But he's Dak Prescott, so he's going to be mediocre. But it's going to be good enough.
He's going to be mediocre.
But it's going to be good enough to beat the Bengals in Week 14. Moving on.
Moving on to Week 15. We got Bengals and Titans at Titans in Tennessee. I'm thinking the Bengals are going to take this one. Titans are still rebuilding. They done sold half their team away for. I'm not really.
They don't have.
I don't have an answer.
They got Will Levis over there who's like throwing the ball to like. I don't know who he was throwing the ball to last year. Most of the time, he was kind of just throwing it out in the left field. Like, okay, somebody might be over there, but nobody was over there. So. No Derrick Henry. They're in somewhat of a rebuild mode themselves. Then they go back home to finish the season. The last two games, they play the Browns and the Broncos. They're definitely going to be upset from the first loss against the Browns. So they're going to come back. They're going to come with a vengeance. They're at this point, like there's playoff aspirations in the hunt and all in the talk and stuff. So Joe Burrow is going to be Jamar Chase. They're all going to be like, gotta win this.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Last two games. And they're gonna finish the season 10-7. Oh wait, we got one more.
I was saying the Bengals at the Steelers that week 18. I gotta scroll down, sir. Scroll down. All right. So yeah. Next up, we got Bengals at Steelers week 18. They're gonna finish off the season with a loss, which is gonna lead them back to that 10-7 that we see. Thus giving Baltimore, in our eyes, the division lead and more likely win for the AFC AFC North.
Yeah. So in a quick rundown for the Cleveland Browns, so basically I feel like Deshaun Watson is going to stay upright for them all season long.
He's going to stay healthy. He's going to stay out of the massage parlors.
Yep. It's going to cause them to stray away from what won them games last year. You're like, how did they go so far into the playoffs using 4 quarterbacks last year? Well, it's because they mostly relied on their run game, their defense, their ground and pound. Well, if Deshaun Watson stays healthy and actually plays all year long, they paid this guy so much money, why not use him? Why not utilize him? Why not throw the ball more? So, yeah, they're going to win games because of it, but they're going to lose games because of it as well.
Yeah, I don't see them being anywhere near the top of the division. They're not standing up against the likes of Baltimore or Cincinnati.
No. So, week one, you want to run us through it real quick?
Yeah, week one we go in Cowboys versus Browns at home. Cowboys, Dak Prescott's gonna like he's saying, got something to prove. He's gonna come in and win that one for the Cowboys, thus giving us Browns' first loss of the season. Game 2, week 2, Browns at Jaguars, first road trip. They're not gonna be ready for it. They're gonna be too chill, relaxing on the Florida beaches all week, instead of doing the training they need to be doing. So I think they're going to lose that one too. Week 3, they're going Giants versus Browns at home. I think that'll be their first win of the season. Playing against a team that's put off their best running back. They're not going to be able to score like they did. They weren't really scoring that much last season anyway, poor Giants. But the Browns are going to come up with a W on that one. Browns and Raiders in week 4. I think the Browns take the Raiders in Vegas. They're going to go out there, bet on themselves, and win some money. You never know. Week 5, Browns at Commanders in Washington. Still on the road, so they're gonna be pushing hard, and they're gonna get a W there. Browns at Eagles. Their winning streak's got to come to an end sometime. Eagles are gonna be the ones to give it to them. They're gonna push for the fucking win. Pardon my French. After that, Bengals at Browns. They're gonna come up with a win. It looks like.
Chargers are down. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Skipping a couple weeks there. Bengals and Browns. They're gonna win that one. That's, I believe, the one that Joe Burrow gets injured and they cart him off in the third quarter. Check the stats on that one. Fact check that in 5 months.
That'll be bad if that actually happens.
Oh man, if I call it in June that he goes down in, what is that, November now, I think. So sorry, dude. No Thanksgiving turkey for you. Then they got Ravens versus the Browns. The Ravens are going to win, giving the Browns another loss. After that, Chargers at Browns. Now we've caught up to your future self here. Chargers at Browns. Going to come up with a win there too. Then they get to rest for a week, get that bye week. After the bye week, though, well rested and ready to go, Browns at Saints going to come up with a W there. They're going to win that game. Steelers versus the Browns. They're going to win that one too. That's a Thursday night game too, by the way. A short week that week, but they're going to come up with 2 back-to-back W's on that. Call it a W. Browns at Broncos. They're going to get that three-peat win. That one's a Monday night game. Going to be another short week for well, actually, they get a little bit more time that's Thursday. They get a whole weekend to rest and come back around, and they don't have to play again until they get a short week, then a long week, and they're going to get another W. Browns at the Steelers. Steelers are going to be really upset they lost that first one. It was probably by a couple of points, maybe 3 or 2, something like that. Steelers are going to come back and win this game. Browns getting a loss. Chiefs versus Browns in Week 15. Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes, and that's the clinching of the season kind of play right here. So they're going to come out with a win and beat the Browns. Browns at Bengals, they're just losing to everybody in the division now because they are crying and sad. After that, it's Miami versus the Browns. Looks like another W for the Miami Dolphins. You thought I was going to say the Browns. No, Browns lose that one too. And then they go into the final game of the season, Week 18, against the Ravens, and guess what? Another L for Browns. Going to be looking hard at 8-9, bottom of their division. But they tried, Moving on.
Moving on. That's good, then. good though. All right, so that finishes up the AFC North. Obviously, we see here Baltimore Ravens taking the AFC North, possibly fighting for number one seed. Maybe not. And then you got Cincinnati Bengals falling right behind it, 10-7. Steelers at 9-8. Cleveland Browns 8-9. This will be probably the first year in a while that the Steelers don't make the playoffs.
Wah, wah, wah. Sorry, babe. I know you're a Steelers fan.
All right, so the AFC South, we have the
Nothing we can do about that.
Texans. What's that?
Nothing. I was looking for the Steelers teddy bear.
Oh.
Sorry, babe. This one's for you. He looks sad.
Having
Steelers
a great coach in Mike Tomlin is not going to be enough this year.
Not going to be enough. He can hang out right there.
All right, so in the AFC South, we got the Houston Texans, we got the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not going to be much of a fight in the division. A little bit of some question marks, but there's definitely some divisions out there that we'll be getting to in other videos that are going to be super close. Man, wait for the NFC. Did you see the NFC? Like how close how close of a fight that's going to be for number one seed?
No, I did not. I haven't even looked.
There's 4 teams at 11.
4 teams. Oh, the Lions aren't one of them. Look at that. Okay, we'll get to that next. We'll get to that. We're not done here, sir.
They can't see you.
Way to distract me. Way to distract me. All right, so we're in the AFC South, right? We're looking at the Texans. Looking at what, 12-5? 12-5. The Texans going 12-5. Well, I mean,
12-5, and this is a jump.
C.J. Stroud
a jump from last year. So they went 10-7 last year. They made it wild card into the playoffs, and then
got
their
lucky
way up through the playoffs, and then unfortunately the Patrick Mahomes effect happened, and Travis Kelce and the Taylor Swift effect, and he got swifted through the fucking stadium and out of here.
Came in all Taylor Swift like.
But the Texans, they replaced Devin Singletary with a more reliable running back in Joe Mixon. They added Stephon Diggs to bolster the receiving room. The coach and the quarterback are both entering their second year. Could have last year been a fluke? I don't think so.
Maybe, but I doubt it. I like C.J. Stroud. I like watching him play. It's exciting, you know. Yeah.
The only way left for them to go is up.
Yeah, I agree.
So, worst case scenario, they go 10-7, adding a loss to the Jets and the Dolphins, and they make it into the playoffs by wild card again. Guess we just have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see. So we got, where is it? Houston Texans, week 1, playing the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to win that game. Where is it? Week 2,
Bears.
They got the Bears at home. They're going to win that game too.
Mm-hmm.
Then week 3, we got the Vikings. They're going to win that game as well. So they're off to a 3-game win streak at the opening of the season.
Win streak.
Going to see Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars
for a divisional matchup. I did a lot of research on this game. I was really torn. I did a lot of research on this game, going back into history and looking at stats, and Jaguars come up with the win.
Jaguars win it, handing the Houston Texans their first loss of the season.
On paper, I personally don't see it happening, but
it'll have to be one of those crazy Sunday shootouts.
Yeah,
that the defenses didn't show up.
Divisional rivalry.
Yeah, division rivalry. The Jaguars just want it more.
Yeah.
They want it more. They still got Zay Flowers?
No,
he's gone. He's with the Ravens now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Was that week 5? Bills at Texans. Texans going to come back from that loss and win this one.
Yeah.
Then they're going to go on to week 6 and play the Patriots and win that one too, baby, because Patriots suck. Sorry. Y'all ain't nothing without Brady. Texans at Packers. They're going to lose that one. Jordan Love, right, is going to come in and just throw some bombs that they're just not ready for. Then they're going to go to Indianapolis. No, Indianapolis is going to come to them, and they are going to lose again. And then, sadly, they have to face the Jets at our home, and they are going to lose that game. Lose. Big L. Sorry, guys. Get my notes out of here. Don't need no notes for that game. Jets win it. Lions versus Texans in Week 10. They're going to win that one. The Lions are kind of been gutted, really, as far as I can remember. They don't have Swift no more.
No, I mean they're still a Jared Goff-led team. Like they just paid Jared Goff.
Lots of money.
They have
Goff money.
They have a decent roster. Give me 3 seconds. For some reason, their big name receiver is not clicking off my head.
And that's a Sunday night game. Oh no, what's that do? We kind of went quiet there for a second.
Sam Laporta.
Who the hell is Sam Laporta?
He's their tight end, but like Jahmyr Gibbs, that's their running back. That's the one that they drafted last year to replace DeAndre Swift. So they're banking on him to be doing good. They picked up Justin Jackson from the Chargers. And they have David Montgomery. Not that he's great. In their receiving room, they don't have much. Jonathan People-Jones, Cody Freeman, which has been consistently good. But I'm on Ross St. Brown. So
I'm on Ross St. Brown. They still got a couple of good people to throw to and whatnot. But we think the Lions lose that one. And moving on, I can't get back to A. Where's A?
Slider at the bottom.
There we go. There we go. Where are we at? Lions. Then they go to play the Cowboys at Dallas. What is that? Monday night game in Dallas.
They had what was that? Lions and Texans on Sunday night, and then on Monday night.
Yeah. So they got Sunday, then a Monday night game, so they get a little reprieve for an extra day there. I'm thinking the Cowboys are gonna lose. Sorry, Marion. Texans up, win that one, and then they move on. They go on to place the Titans at home, which they're gonna win that one as well. Then the Texans go back to Jacksonville to try and reclaim their respect, and they do. They get the W there before they get the nice little vacation bye week, where then they go to play the Dolphins, or the Dolphins go to play them.
Yeah, Dolphins go.
And the Dolphins lose! I just wanted to say that out loud. The Dolphins are going to lose that one against the Texans. Texans are going to take it.
You know how hard that...
It was hard for him to write W. He wanted to write it on the other team, and you can tell why. I mean, just look at him. Just look. All that orange. I only like my orange on my, college teams.
Moving on.
Moving on. where is it? They whip up on the Dolphins in week 15. Then week 16, it's Texans at Chiefs. And we're going to think this is going to be a W for the Texans. Chiefs are going to fail miserably. Patrick Mahomes is going to be mad as hell. Taylor Swift's not showing up to this game. Kelsey's on vacation. I don't know what happened, but the Chiefs lose.
Alright, so hear me out. So
let's hear them out.
Alright, so hear me out. So next up, the Chiefs are a really good team. And the Texans are a really good team, and C.J. Stroud is the only quarterback that Patrick Mahomes hasn't played yet. He hasn't played this coach. He hasn't played this quarterback. I think that the Houston Texans are built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's why I think that they will beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
So this game is by design by the NFL gods. The Roger Goodall over there in the prediction booth with the tarot cards. He's over there picking Texans over Chiefs for that game. Yeah. Which, who knows, fingers crossed, might even knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs, if we're lucky.
Oh, might knock them out of number one seed.
Number one.
Knock them out of
Come on, we can make bold predictions here.
Yeah, but
then we got week 17, Ravens at the Texans. They're going to get handed a loss by Lamar Jackson because he's amazing. C.J. Stroud's going to put up some good numbers in that game, 300-plus yards, easy. But he's still going to come up with an L. Last week of the season, Texans at Titans. We're gonna get a W for the final ending game, which is going to leave them at 12-5, which puts them at the top of the division for their division. But I don't know, still probably maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th seed, something like that.
Either way, still make it into the playoffs.
But they'll get to the playoffs for sure.
I'll do the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Moving on.
Next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they just signed Trevor Lawrence to his deal. He's getting paid $55 million. As we speak right now, he's currently the highest paid quarterback. That's ridiculous. Anyways, so he's got a lot to live up for, or live up to.
Live up to. Yeah, he's better.
He's lost some pieces, but he still has ETN Jr. He still has Christian Kirk, which is okay for a receiver. I mean, not a great number one receiver in my eyes, but he'll be enough. The defense and the running game is really what's going to win the games for them. Trevor Lawrence just being able to distribute the ball effectively will be enough. But they're going to go to Miami in week 1. Unfortunately, they're just not going to be enough for that high-powered, high-flying offense. You remember how they started the season last year. Whether Tua gets his contract signed or not, he's going to be playing. He's still got 1 more year, so that's going to be a W for the Dolphins, a loss for the Jaguars. So then they go home and they play the Browns. We've already covered this. The Browns are going to win that game, ground and pound. Deshaun Watson passing the ball. Then they travel to Buffalo. They lose to the Bills in a Monday night game. Freaking gritty game. Gritty game. Then they travel to Houston.
Wet. It's going to be raining.
Divisional game here. Trevor Lawrence is pissed off from that Monday night loss to the Buffalo. And he comes in here and he's like, I'm going to win my division. And he goes and he beats C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. And then he goes back home for 2 weeks. He plays the Colts and then the Bears. Now that Bears game is in London technically, but it's a home game. But he's going to put a W up for both of those. And then he's going to come back to actually Jacksonville from London, back to actually Jacksonville, and he's going to play the Packers. And Jordan Love's going to come into the house and he's going to show him what's up and he's going to give him an L. And then they got to go to Philadelphia and they're going to get pushed all to hell and get another L. And then they're going to go back home, and the Vikings are going to come in, and J.J. McCarthy thinks he's going to win this game. He's going to be winning it in the 4th quarter, but the Jaguars are going to find a way to Travis Etienne that ball into the end zone and get a W. Then they will travel to Detroit, and where Jared Goff just San Laporta's his ass.
San Laportas.
Anyway, so it's going to be a nice, good game. It's going to be a little bit cold. Obviously, Florida teams don't do well in cold weather, so he's going to get a loss in Detroit. And then they get to rest. They get a bye week, and then they get to go back home. And then the Texans come there. And this time the Texans are not taking a loss from Trevor Lawrence. They're fighting for their division at this point, and they give the Jaguars a loss. And then they go to Tennessee, and they play the Titans. The Titans are rebuilding, so they win there. And then they travel back home for the Jets to host the Jets, and the Jets come in, and Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall with his kickoff return special is just gonna, sorry, Jaguars, that's a loss for you guys. And then they go on the road, or they stay home for 3 straight games. So Jets come to them and it's like, hey, we're going to give you a loss, but guess what? You're going to take this loss and you're going to win the next 2 games. So then they go and they beat the Raiders and they beat the Titans at home. And then to end the season, they travel to Indianapolis and they whoop up on them as well. And they end the season at 10-7 and make a wild card. They take the wild card spot with that win in Indianapolis at the end of the season.
That's a pretty good prediction. I like that. Moving on. We got, well, he was just talking about the Colts. Looks like they're not going to do too well, but then again, neither are the Titans. So we'll do the Colts first because they look like they start off bad but kind of make it a little better throughout the season here. Colts start off week 1. Texans at home. We already talked about why C.J. Stroud's going to run amok on them. Then they get to go to Green Bay and lose to the Packers real quick before they go home and finally win a game, the 3rd game of the year with the Bears. They're going to take out the Bears. It's going to be probably a close one. Bears are going to do a little better than they usually do, but they're still going to lose. So Colts win. Steelers versus the Colts, week 4. Steelers are not going to be able to handle it. The curtain's going to fall. Colts going to win that one. No, Colts going to lose that one. Wait a minute here. We got a little backwards reading going on. Steelers are going to win versus the Colts. That Iron Curtain's going to fall on them horses.
Yeah.
We're going to pick that back up from the ground. Then the Colts are going to head down to Florida and lose to the Jaguars. Not going to be handling that heat. It's going to be too damn hot down here. Florida weather is going to murder them. Colts at Titans, they're going to come up with a W. I'm not really sure why, but it's going to happen somehow. Then the Dolphins versus the Colts. Colts going to lose. Dolphins going to claim victory. Claim victory for the Dolphins. Ooh, it doesn't even sound right. Colts at the Texans. They're going to come out and win that one too. C.J. Stroud's going to have a bad day. Throw a couple picks. Maybe just be off his game. But he's going to cause a loss for the Texans and a win for the Colts. Colts going into week 9 are playing the Vikings, and they're going to win against the Vikings. Not really sure what's going on in Minnesota myself, but Colts coming out with a W at the end of that one. Then they go into, week 10. Bills at Colts in Indy. That's a tricky one. In Indy. Bills versus the Colts. Bills going to come out and win it, so Colts get a loss. And then, wait a second. Hold on. This is a Monday night game. Sunday night game. You didn't tell me Sunday night at home. The Jets are going to lose to the Colts. I don't agree with it, but you say W, I say, what do you see there?
So it's just any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday. So that'll be a W for the Colts, according to the statistics guy here. at AFC Eastie Boys. Lions and Colts, week 12. Colts are going to lose that one. Lions going to come in Amon St. Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown or the guy with 4 names is going to come in and get a couple of touchdowns, and they're going to win that game. Colts are going to go to the Patriots and lose, giving the Patriots probably their first victory of the season.
Yeah.
In week 13. Okay. Then they get to a bye week. They get to relax, rest a little bit before going back out on the road against the Broncos. They're going to just run amok. The Colts are going to, if you think about it, in horses, the Colts are normally a small horse, right? Broncos, big horse. Small horses are going to mess up the big horse. So Broncos go down, lose, and the Colts win. Titans versus Colts. Again, Colts going to come up with a W there against the Tennessee Titans. Not really sure if I agree with it, but statistically, Titans are going to lose. Colts at Giants. They're going to come into New Jersey to Jet Stadium, and they're going to beat the Giants because the Giants don't know how to defend their territory. Jaguars and Colts to end the season, week 18, with a loss, which gives Jaguars the lead over the Colts in the division for the end of the season.
All right, so hear me out.
Hearing you out.
Hear me out.
Hearing him out.
Hear me out. So
let's hear him out, folks.
For week 11, I know it's this one you're like curious about. So
Yeah.
week 11,
What?
Anthony Richardson is their quarterback all the way through week 10. Week 11, Marcus Mariota starts.
Mariota starts in week 11.
Week 11. You guys aren't prepared for that. Like, he's a totally different type of quarterback. You guys are preparing for a mobile quarterback in Anthony Richardson, and then you have a pocket passer that starts against you guys in Indianapolis. And they have the weapons for him to be able to utilize. They have Jonathan Taylor. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to be one of those games where, like, they're going to trick you and win. Like, you're going to underestimate them going into the game, for one.
I see some kind of tomfoolery going on here.
Tomfoolery going to happen.
Some tomfoolery, clock management at the end or something like that, because, I don't know, man. Sunday night,
at home.
That Sunday, at home, I'm going to be very upset if that's facts. Very upset.
Listen,
we'll see.
We'd like to see both of our teams go 17-0, but
yeah, hey, and nobody can win all 18 games, sir.
All right, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Titans. They go 3-14 on the season. They're in like a total rebuild mode. They have Will Levis throwing the football to God knows who. Like, people he's throwing to the ball to are not even on the field. Literally, he threw the ball into the stands a couple times last year.
Touchdown!
Yeah.
Touchdown! And the ref was just like, sure,
so
let's just give it to him.
Their 1 of 3 wins comes in week 1 against the Bears, and then they don't win again until week 8 and week 9, where they end up upsetting the Lions, and then they beat a worse team in the Patriots.
And then they proceed to lose the rest of the season.
Yes. The Vikings, Chargers, Texans, Commanders, Jaguars, Bengals, Colts, Jaguars again, Jets, Packers, Dolphins, Colts, Bills, all losses.
All of these teams will beat the Tennessee Titans. Why? Because they are...
If you can't score points, it doesn't matter how good your defense is.
That's true.
Name me one person on the Tennessee Titan team that is going to score more than 1 touchdown in a game.
I couldn't even name one person on the Tennessee Titan team anymore.
Will Levis. They have Will Levis, and then they drafted 2 running backs. I think they're the ones that picked up DeAndre Swift, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, DeAndre Swift is good, but, like...
Easy.
Let me make sure that they're the
3-14 good.
Let me make sure that they're the ones that picked him up, because I'm pretty sure that they're the ones that picked him up.
Yeah, John 3:14. Yeah. Good one, Moosh. Mm-hmm.
No,
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Catch you talking to yourself?
I'm fucking wrong. They have Tony Pollard. That's who they picked up.
Pollard?
They picked up Tony Pollard. And they picked up Tyler Boyd. So they have Traylon Burks, they have Tyler Boyd, they have Tony Pollard.
So they got a bunch
And
of
DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of people.
a bunch of Eustacoons.
Exactly. So they're going to get walked over. Defense is not going to be enough. Will Levis, like I said, throwing the ball into the stands is not going to produce touchdowns.
If you're a Titans fan, start watching college football because you're going to want to get the best quarterback for next year.
The best quarterback for next year. So, moving on.
Moving
The
on.
AFC South, Texans take the division at 12-5, followed up closely by the Jacksonville Jaguars, 10-7. Indianapolis Colts, 8-9. Tennessee Titans, unfortunately, finishing 3-14 and looking towards next year.
For an abysmal season and hopefully high hopes towards next season.
High hopes. High hopes.
High hopes.
High hopes.
You don't got them.
So I'll cover the Chargers. You can do the Chiefs. What kind of info you got for us on Chiefs? Let's look up any kind of season moves they made. Quickly, I know that they changed a little bit, but they didn't change too much. I know they signed Jones. They extended his contract.
Let's see. Chiefs 2024 free agency tracker. Brought to you by ESPN.
Bang bang.
Pay me.
Bang bang.
All right. Carson Wentz. They signed former LA Rams quarterback Carson Wentz to a 1-year deal. It means that they have a new backup for Patrick Mahomes and Blaine Gabbert that held the job, and Chad Henne for several seasons before that. Wentz brings more potential upside than either of the others in an injury Mahomes. It puts him in a lineup for an extended period of time. He played at something approaching an MVP level for a time when he was with the Eagles, even though that was a few seasons and 4 teams ago.
Is my camera closing? Oh no.
No, it's just a little behind. You itching your face. The Chiefs re-signed defensive end Mike Dana to a 3-year deal. Not much of a risk there. The Chiefs know what they're getting with Dana, who played for them for the last 4 seasons. He's only 26, so the best seasons of his career should still be ahead of him. They also re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was a favorite of mine a few years back when the Chiefs were on their first, I believe, Super Bowl run. They got a little bit of depth behind their regular featured running back, Pacheco, who's definitely stolen the job over there in the last year.
For sure has.
They're well acquainted with Edwards-Helaire, who was their first-round pick in 2020 and the regular featured back for more than 2 seasons before being replaced by Pacheco. Helaire was never as consistently productive as the Chiefs hoped when they drafted him, but he had his moments. He's not a star quality, but the Chiefs aren't asking that of him. They got a star in Pacheco, so as long as he's good, they should be all right. They also kept up with Chris Jones, defensive tackle. Reached an agreement on a 5-year deal that included $97 million guaranteed.
Makes him the highest paid defensive end.
The Chiefs won't have to chase a 3rd straight Super Bowl without Jones, an important player who has helped the Chiefs win 3 titles in the past 5 seasons. Beyond the stats, the Chiefs can move on to the rest of their offseason priorities knowing that their biggest goal has been accomplished. They also acquired former Baltimore Ravens and Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown. Expected to sign a 1-year deal worth up to $11 million with the Chiefs.
Hollywood.
gives them the Hollywood Brown. Yeah, it gives them the wide receiver they desperately needed. It's fast and appears to be a good fit for what the Chiefs want to do offensively. Haven't had a deep threat since they got rid of Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. What a mistake that was. Drew Tranquil, linebacker.
We'll see.
The Chiefs reach an agreement with linebacker Drew Tranquil on a 3-year, $19 million deal that includes $13 million fully guaranteed. That means injury or not, he's getting paid $13 million to be a linebacker. They were able to retain a versatile linebacker, likely to lose one of their other top linebackers, Willie Gay, as a free agent, so re-signing Tranquil makes a lot of sense. He led the Chiefs linebackers in sacks with 4.5 sacks and tackles with 79. A few other additions here to the Chiefs.
Nothing big though.
Nothing big after that. Those were the big ones. They got James Winchester, Deion Bush as a safety, 1-year deal. A lot of it is retaining people that they've had, and then bolstering up a little bit of the wide receiver room so that they can get another speedster in there with Marquise Brown.
Well, they have Rashee Rice still too, and Sky Moore. Sky Moore, he's been okay, but Rashee Rice did really well last year. Moving on.
Who are we going to talk about next? I'm going to do the AFC boys real quick. Oh, what's going on there? Did it just start recording? That's weird.
Does it have like a
maybe I don't know
a word that you used to say?
Take a picture. No.
Next up.
Next up, we're going to do
so we'll run through it real quick.
Run through the AFC West, or
so Kansas City, they're going to start the season at home, and they're going to get a win against the Ravens. They travel to Baltimore. Starting over. Take it away.
Moving on, Kansas City Chiefs are going to be starting the season having Ravens come in to Kansas City, and they're going to get a win there. They're going to start off the season with a win, and then they go week 2 hosting the Bengals, and they're going to lose that one. Bengals, Joe Burrow is going to be just a little too much for them. Beginning of the season, they're not really, expecting them to come out hot. Bengals going to come out hot and put the Chiefs up in a bad position that they're not going to be able to come back from. They're going to lose that game. Then they got Chiefs at Falcons on, what is that, a Sunday night? Sunday night game. Chiefs are going to come up with a W. They're going to win that one. Chiefs at Chargers in week 4. Again, another win. The Chiefs, they're going to start on a little bit of a roll here. Then they go back home and play the Saints on a Monday night, right? Yeah, Monday night. And they're going to get a win there. Then they get the bye week, so they get to relax for a little bit before they go all the way to San Francisco to face the Niners. They're going to lose that game. I don't know, it's still Brock Purdy over there slinging the ball for the Niners, but they're going to get a W. Call you back. Then they're going to go on a little bit of a win streak. Chiefs are going to come out hot, mad that they lost to the Niners. They're going to beat the Raiders, the Bucks, and the Broncos, all 1, 2, 3, like nothing happened. Then they're going to go to Buffalo and beat the Bills, then the Panthers and the Raiders again before a Sunday night game with the Chargers at home, where they're going to win it again. A little bit of a winning streak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight, ending it with the loss to the Texans at home on a Monday night. Keep looking up for that. Yeah, on a Monday night. That's going to be a sad, sad day for Mahomes, because that's pretty much what everybody wants to see is Mahomes lose that game. Can't blame him. I kind of want to see that myself. And come on, what's going on here? Then we got the Chiefs at the Steelers for. I can't see it. Chiefs of the Steelers. Chiefs are going to win that one. Sorry, babe. Not to upset you. Yeah. And then the Chiefs at the Broncos. Why is that question marks? Why is that question marks?
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, so here's how it plays out, alright? So, like, at this point in the season, the Chiefs are sitting at 13-3. Wait. Hold on. I need to get this together. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 3. Yes. Okay, moving on.
He was right. Moving on.
Moving on. So at this point in the season, the Chiefs are sitting at 13-3. They just come off their third loss against the Texans. Okay, they went ahead and they whooped up on Baltimore early in the season. Right now, Baltimore is also sitting at 13-3. So going into Week 17, if the Texans end up beating Baltimore, then the Texans will have the number 1 seed over the Kansas City Chiefs. So, which would mean that the Kansas City Chiefs would have to play in Week 18 and win that game in order to keep number 1 seed. But if the Houston Texans lose,
I see why there's question marks.
If Baltimore Ravens win that game in Texas against the Houston Texans in Week 17, then Patrick Mahomes can rest in Week 18. They can lose that game. They can coast into number 1 seed with a 13-4 record because they'd have the win over Baltimore and they'd still have number 1 seed. And that's why there's question marks there.
Okay,
it could be a win or a loss depending on how Week 17 plays out.
It could be a game they give away and don't care about and play all their second stringers, or a game that they actually need to have to try and win to maintain that top seed. So that's why it's question marks. Because otherwise, if you were looking at it, I honestly think the Chiefs secondary could probably beat the Broncos. Anyway, moving on. So then we got the Los Angeles Chargers.
I've lost all faith in the Chargers. The offense took a big hit. Don't get me wrong, the defense is still going to be good and it's still going to perform, but we're going to find out who Justin Herbert really is this year. Last year he only had 3,143 passing yards, and 1,200 plus of that went to one player.
One guy, Keenan Allen.
He's gone.
Who's gone? Keenan Allen has left the building.
That was 120 targets that Keenan Allen got that 1,200 yards on.
I had him on fantasy. Trust me, you don't got to tell me.
You know who the next highest targeted person was for
Eckler?
It was Eckler.
Austin Eckler.
Had 72 receptions, like 74 receptions, and 600 yards. Guess what? He's
gone too.
Mike Williams, he didn't play a lot. He got
injured.
He got injured, but he was still there. But
now he's a Jet, baby.
He's gone.
He's gone.
And one more person. What was his name? Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee was actually the third person who got catches from Justin Herbert, the third highest, and he's gone as well. So we're really going to see what Justin Herbert is made of this year when all your top targets are gone and they didn't replace them with anybody. You're the one that got DeAndre Swift, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it? Anyways, what are you going to do with him?
So we're going to run through it real quick. Just because they got rid of all of his top targets doesn't mean that he's going to lose all the games. No, they are going to win some games. They have a pretty decently easy schedule. Their first 3 games are wins. They're Raiders, Panthers, and then they go on to lose against the Chiefs. Then they have a bye week, and then they go and they beat the Broncos. They beat the Cardinals.
Everybody beats the Broncos.
Everybody beats the Broncos. They beat the Cardinals. Then they go home and they lose to the Saints. The Saints come in. They kind of give them a little upset. They Chargers have been on a high, and then the Chargers they go and they play a tough Browns team who just ground and pounds it. Their defense is a little bit harder. Justin Herbert can't get over the hump, and they win with a field goal at the end. And then the Titans. They go home for the next 3 games. They win against the Titans. The Bengals come in. They win against them. And then they play a Monday night game against the Ravens at home, and the Ravens whoop their ass. And then they get 4 losses right in a row: Falcons, Chiefs, and then the Bucs. All beat them. And then the next 3 games they get W's, playing the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Raiders to end up the season to try and fight for a wild card spot in the AFC.
Poor Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, new coach. I mean, brand new coach. He just he's going to be a good coach in the NFL, but he literally this is his first year in the NFL. He just came out of college. He did win the bowl game there, so I mean he's not going to be a bad coach. It's just that he's not going to have a lot of weapons for his star quarterback to throw to. So they're going to lose.
He's going to have to work with what he's got.
There's going to be some hiccups, just like Mike McDaniel had a few hiccups. I can go back to Mike McDaniel's first year coaching for us, and I can point out 3 games that we lost because of Mike McDaniel and his coaching and
coaching
time
style,
management, penalties, calls when you throw the red flags and shit.
Oh, the challenges and the uses of them.
Yes, there was one game we lost because he did that and he shouldn't have. But whatever, you learn. So that's going to be the hiccups, and that's what's going to keep them out of the Super Bowl this year.
I can understand that. Yeah. Sorry, Chargers, but you ain't making it.
Alright, so we'll run through the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos real quick. There's not a whole lot to talk about.
A lot of losing. That's what we got to talk
There's
about.
not a whole lot to talk about. The Las Vegas Raiders basically have Gardner Minshew going to be throwing the ball for them, and he's going to be throwing the ball to who? Who knows? Devontae Adams. That's the only. Oh, they did actually pick up Michael Gallup. That must have happened recently.
Okay, so
we made this.
So they're gonna look like a mixture of the old Green Bay Packers and the old
Yeah, because I mean you still have Gardner
Dallas
Minshew.
Cowboys.
You still have Gardner Minshew throwing the ball for you. I mean he did okay for the Colts last year in place of Anthony Richardson when Anthony Richardson was injured.
He's gonna bring out that mullet and.
I mean Carter Bradley is the quarterback they drafted. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot looking up for the Vegas Raiders right now.
No.
Or the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos, with Sean Payton, he went and he got rid of Russell Wilson, and they drafted Bo Nix, and they have Zach Wilson also. So...
What are you going to do?
Samaje Perine running the ball. I mean, with wide receivers with the likes of Tim Patrick and Josh Reynolds, Philip Dorsett are your biggest names there in the wide receiver room. They didn't even draft. Oh, they did draft one rookie wide receiver. So I don't even know what Sean Payton was doing when he was drafting this year. Focus on the quarterback and then just kind of let it fall down from there.
Yeah, he was looking into the past.
And it doesn't matter how good of a defense you have. Sean Payton is a defensive quarterback. I mean, a defensive coach. It doesn't matter how good of a defense you have. If you can't score points, you're not going to win games in the AFC.
And that's just how it works.
That's just how it's going. That's just how it is now. That's just the environment. So Vegas Raiders, they get 3 wins. They do squeak out a win against the Panthers. They squeak out a win against the Bengals. It's a very weird upset. I think that's while Joe Burrow is injured.
Week 9. Yep, Joe Burrow's still injured.
Joe Burrow's injured. And then they squeak out a win against the Broncos. who's an even worse team than them. So, and then the Broncos could possibly get 2 wins on the season, depending on Week 18 and how the Chiefs fall and how their schedule works out.
Otherwise, it looks like
they could get a gimme, basically.
Otherwise, it looks like they only beat the Raiders in Week 5, and then they proceed to lose the rest of the season. So, look for your Broncos at pick number 1 in next year's draft. They'll be trying to sell that too, I'm
they're
sure.
going to be fighting for number 1 pick. So based on that, we have Kansas City Chiefs are definitely going to be taking the AFC West, closely followed by the Chargers.
With a 14-3 or 13-4 record, depending on that last game.
Yeah.
Then we have the LA Chargers closely right behind them at 10-7. The Las Vegas Raiders at 3-14. And the lonely little Broncos at, 2-15?
I'll tell you what, man, it's going to be fun watching this season for the Chargers as a Dolphin fan. Because I don't know if you remember or not, back a couple years ago when we could have drafted Justin Herbert and all them fake Zoom fans were out there like, oh, we could have had Herbert over Tua. It's like, now we're really going to see what Herbert's made of, if we really made a mistake or not. Tua's been balling out. Granted, Tua's got weapons to throw to, but...
That's true.
Waddle, 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 waddle.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm going to take a quick smoke break.
It's a great idea.
Move on. Take a smoke break too. Alright, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back.
We'll be back to cover the most fascinating division in the AFC, the AFC EASTIE, boy! Just gonna let it run.
Yeah. I mean, we can answer it.
Nah, it's good. That way, anything baby says gets caught.
Ooh, how you doing? Do you have any video of when you were at the Jets game?
No, only a couple picks. One which you see right there featured.
Right. That one.
That was my best photo.
For that. Yeah, because you kind of got the MetLife business going on. Yeah, I got the logo from the stadium and the Dolphins hat. save the best for last. Right? Welcome back, everybody. Almost. Hey, return to work, it says. Oh, we're returning to work. Don't you worry. How's everybody else doing out there in TV land? You want us to move on? You guys already know our predictions before we even say them, because they've just been sitting here on the screen. We're so dumb. Oh, they done left. Or maybe they're on commercials. So this is a message to Mike McDaniel. Put Devon A-Chain back there receiving kicks. With this new kick-off rule, he's going to score a touchdown for you 9 out of 10 times. Just imagine this guy running up and catching the ball and just running through a bunch of guys not moving yet because they can't move until he touches the ball. Touchdown machine, Devon A-Chain returning kicks. Let's go.
This is a message to moving on. This is a message to Robert Saleh. Use Breece Hall for the kickoff returns. With the new rules for the kickoff returns, he's going to be able to get the ball, keep moving, and run all the way down that field, half the field, before anyone even starts moving other than their kicker on the other side. So, Robert Saleh, listen to me when I say this. Breece Hall, kick returns, and running back. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's see it.
Moving on.
Hmm.
We're still chilling and relaxing here. No rush. We can go through like the later parts of the AFC East while you finish your lunch. So the Patriots, unfortunately, new coach. This is going to be their first year without Bill Belichick.
Bye, Bill.
They got rid of Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is gone.
So they got a new quarterback. They drafted a quarterback. Like, they pretty much got rid of everybody, and they're starting over. They don't have a lot of wins on the season. They literally only get one win against the Colts in week 13, and that was a fluke by the Colts. And they probably would have had all L's the number one pick for next year. I think they're going to tank. Like, I think that's going to be their goal going into this year, is to tank the season for number one pick. So there you have it for them.
The most loses ends up could possibly be the best winner next year.
Could possibly be the best winner next year. And then the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are going to take a little bit of a step back this year. They got rid of Stephon Diggs. They got rid of Gabe Davis. They lost Jordan Poyer. They've lost a lot on their defense. They don't have Devin Singletary. They do have James Cook still back there, going to be able to run the ball for them. But I think they're going to struggle a lot in the beginning of the season, getting the new receivers accustomed to Josh Allen. He's going to make some mistakes early in the season. They're not going to be in sync. He's going to have some interceptions. So Buffalo is going to start off the season having back-to-back losses. They're going to have one at home against Arizona, then they're going to go on the road and play a Thursday night game in Miami, and Miami lost to them last time on Thursday night and not going to let it happen again. So they're going to come up with a W against Buffalo. And then they are going to go home. They're sad. They're upset that they lost to Miami, and they're going to be mad. Josh Allen is going to play a good game against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is going to get the W there. Then they got to travel to Baltimore and play them, and then travel to Texas and play C.J. Stroud. So Lamar Jackson's gonna win. C.J. Stroud's gonna win. The Buffalo Bills just aren't gonna be there yet as far as scoring goes. The defense is gonna be good. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's gonna be a fun game to watch, but Baltimore and Texans are gonna be a lot more hungry than the Buffalo Bills right now. And then they travel to New Jersey where they play the Jets. And this is where like everybody starts clicking. And this is where everything starts going good for Josh Allen and Keon Coleman, and they start like vibing. They get a win against the Jets, and then they travel home and they get a win against the Titans. Then somehow Geno Smith and Tyler Lockett and company at home in Seattle give them a loss. And then they travel home and Miami comes in and they beat up on Miami for the second game because they're not going to let Miami sweep them. That's just not, they're not. Ken Dorsey's over there like, you are not going to let Miami come in our home and beat us again. Not going to happen. So they're going to get the win over Miami. Then they travel to Indianapolis. They get the win over the Colts. Then Buffalo. They go back home and they play the Chiefs, where the Chiefs come in and they get Patrick Mahomes. Now, don't get me wrong. Buffalo has beaten the Chiefs in the regular season the past 3 seasons straight. So this will be the first time that they actually lose to the Chiefs in the regular season. It's just because Mahomes and company are going to be they're on a mission. Then they get a
mission from God.
They are on a bye week, and then they get to stay home for their bye week. And then San Francisco comes into town, gives them a whooping. So then they go on the road and they go to the Rams, and they beat up.
Back that up.
I just realized. All right. They come off their bye week. They're still at home. They just lost to the Chiefs. They're like bummed out, but they get to stay home and they get to practice and prepare for San Francisco, and they get to win there. And then they go to the Rams and they get the win there. They go to Detroit. They get the win there. Like Josh Allen and Keon Coleman at this point, they look like superstars. They're so in sync. They're so connected. They're just like getting touchdowns, getting yardage. Dawson Knox is out there. James Cook is running the ball. Like, the Buffalo Bills look like the Buffalo Bills that everybody is used to seeing over the last couple of years. So then they go back home and the Pats come into town and they whoop up on them. They're gonna whoop up on the Pats like the Dolphins whooped up on the Broncos last year. Like, that's just gonna happen. And then the Jets come into their town and the Jets say, no, buddy, not this time.
You beat us once.
Not this time, and they're gonna give them a loss, and then the Buffalo Bills are gonna go and whoop up on the Pats again. It's not gonna be a big number like it was the first time they played 2 weeks ago, but they're still gonna win, and they're gonna end their season at 10-7, and maybe make the wild card. Maybe make the wild card.
Maybe. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen either.
I'd have to go back and look through the rest of the AFC to see how, like, the other 10-17 Jaguars, and compare their wins and losses and stuff to see.
The Chargers, the Jaguars,
and the
Bengals.
The Bengals, yeah. So we'd have to, like, compare all of their schedules and see who played what to determine who would take that.
Needless to say, the Buffalo Bills aren't going to make it to the postseason this year. In my opinion, let me just say that out loud.
No, the AFC's tough, man. The AFC's going to be a tough one. There's only going to be one 10-7 team in the playoffs, so
there can only be one.
Everyone else has got above 10 wins. They'll be in the finish, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there would be 2 10-7 teams that'll make the playoffs. So it could be the Chargers, it could be the Jaguars, it could be the Browns, or it could be the Buffalo Bills. 2 out of those 4 will make it.
Yo no sé, man. Yo no sé. Moving on. All right. So we're going to talk about the Jets. All right. 7 Jets placed in the top 10 at their respective positions. Number 1, cornerback Sauce Gardner. Number 1 cornerback in the league right now. 92.1 coverage grade, allowing only 0.53 yards per coverage snap over the last 2 years, which leaves him ranked first overall in cornerbacks in the league. We also got Quinnen Williams, interior lineman with 5.5 sacks and 52 tackles. I'm sorry, 5.5 sacks. Then linebacker C.J. Mosley with 52 tackles and 5 of which were for a loss. 152 tackles, 5 of which were for a loss. We've got Breece Hall as our running back. He's the number 7 running back in the league. Number 8 quarterback in the league with Aaron Rodgers. You guys can't forget, this man's a 4-time MVP, even after coming back from an ACL tear that ended his season in 2023 before it even started. His resume alone demands a top ranking in the quarterbacks. I don't think he's over the hill yet. Lots of action expected from Rodgers this year. All or nothing. It's his last season with the Jets, so hopefully he can pull off something amazing for us. We've been waiting quite some time for something like this. Most predictions about Rodgers are bold, and mine aren't any different. I expect the best play of his career. Nothing everyone wants to retire on top. Super Bowl win with the Jets would prove that he's still in top tier form, even as the oldest player in the NFL, because Brady gone. The top is where he sits, and that's where he wants to stay. That's where he's going to want to retire. I don't see him playing another year for any team, let alone, for us again. But let's see what this season holds for us. So, week 1, Jets at San Francisco. We're going to start off with an L in the season. It's going to feel horrible. It's going to look bad. We're gonna cry about it later in the season because it's one of the only losses that we're going to be suffering. They go in to play the Titans in week 2. We're going to win that game. It's going to be relatively, more fluid. The game's going to it's going to evolve more a little bit. So we're going to be playing a little better, a little less pressure on us, not playing such a hard defense. So Rodgers will be able to come up with a W there. Then the Patriots come into town on a Monday night, and we're gonna whoop them up, man. The poor Patriots they're gonna be starting from scratch, so it's not looking good for them. Broncos at Jets. That's another W for the Jets. We keep on our little winning streak for now. That's 3 in a row, and then we head into Minnesota to play the Vikings. Vikings are going to give us a run for our money, but we're still going to come up with the W because Jets win. This is the one I don't like talking about. Buffalo at the Jets. Supposedly a loss. I hope it doesn't pan out that way. I want to kind of stay on top of Buffalo as far as Josh Allen and them. Our defense is strong. I foresee 2 picks, one by Sauce, one by C.J. Mosley. I don't agree with what we're saying, but it's an L for the Jets there. Jets at Steelers the next week. What is that? Week 6? No, 7. Week 7. Jets at Steelers. Sorry, babe. You're gonna lose that one. She's a Steelers fan, so we're gonna probably have a little sit down for that one and talk about it afterward because it's gonna be a severe beating. Don't put me in handcuffs. Then we go to play the Patriots again at their house in East Rutherford, and we're going to take the W there. Texans at Jets. It's going to be a hard-fought game. C.J. Stroud's going to come in hot. They're going to score, and we're going to have to fight our way back into that game. We're going to with a come from behind win in the last couple of minutes of the game with an Aaron Rodgers 2-minute drill, glory days kind of shit right there. After that, was that week 10, Jets at Arizona, coming up with another win. Kyler Murray still can't get it together over there.
No, he can't.
Never could. Then the Colts at the Jets. Looks like they're handing us our last loss of the season, right before our bye week. So we're gonna go into that game, I guess, tired and sore. Then went out partying the night before, something like that. Come back out and lose the game. Coach is gonna be mad. Bye week comes. We all rested, relaxed, took our ayahuasca with fucking Rodgers. And then we come out for Seahawks at Jets at home. Jets are going to take the W. Seattle's Geno Smith is going to wish he never left.
And I wish he was still at home.
We'll see what happens there. Jets at Miami. This is a what the win. This is the one where we come down here to Miami, play them in the heat. He's not happy about it. He's all might. You see the hat coming off. He doesn't want to be seen on the same stream as talking about a Miami loss to the Jets. But here we are. That'll be week 14. Everybody get your tickets for that one because that's going to be fun to watch. Then they move on to Jacksonville on their way home with another win against Trevor Lawrence. Then it's Rams at Jets for week 16. With another win there, and then the Jets go on to Buffalo for their last trip to Buffalo for the season. They're going to be upset they lost the first one, probably pretty pissed off. They're going to come in there and they're going to show Josh Allen just who the New York Jets are this season and pull off a W. And the last game of the season, Miami at the Jets up in East Rutherford, New Jersey, week 18. Going to be a hard-fought game. That's going to be the decider for who wins this division as far as the AFC East is concerned. Miami and the Jets are going to be the teams to look at and watch. I see the Jets pulling off a W and sweeping Miami for the season, but I'm sure there's going to be other people that have different views on that. So we'll see how that goes. All my predictions in, that puts the Jets at 14-3 on the season, and fingers crossed, hopefully in the lead.
Yeah. Based on that, that would mean that no matter what, the Chiefs would need to play Week 18.
They would have to play hard.
They would have to play Week 18 to beat the Broncos to go to 14-3. Because if you guys are at 14-3, then you guys would be.
That would be the fight for the AFC.
You guys would be at 13-3 seed going into Week 18 as well.
Yeah, seed 1.
That would be fighting for number 1 seed. Hard to grasp that, right? To think last year, it could have been like that last year too. Crazy.
Fingers crossed.
Crazy.
Knock on wood.
Crazy.
All that superstitial stuff you can do. Let's go ahead and do that.
Let's hope they can stay healthy. That's the key. That's the key. All of these predictions are based on if these teams stay healthy.
Yes, that's right.
I think
100% teams.
There's only a couple teams we actually took into consideration to where quarterbacks or players are going to get injured because it's
sorry, Joe.
It's pretty.
Sorry, Burrow.
Yeah, it's pretty
pointing at you
at this point. Anyways, but first, moving on. First, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is Tua's contract. After doing some extensive research on this matter, it's been a tough one, but I don't think we should pay him that much money. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy. I've been supporting him since day one, but hear me out. This just, if we keep paying these quarterbacks within 5 years, quarterbacks are going to be looking at $100 million a year. How are we supposed to build a team around that if we're paying our quarterback $100 million a year? You can't. So let's let him go out here. Let's let him play this year. Yeah, he's going to ball out. He's going to be worth more next year. But there might be another quarterback on the market next year that could run this offense efficiently. And that is a guy by the name of Kirk Cousins. He did go and sign with Atlanta for 4 years. He got a 4-year contract, but they also just drafted Michael Penix Jr. So Kirk Cousins is going to go into Atlanta. He's going to do a really good job there. He's going to perform well. He's going to train Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be ready for year two. And I think the Atlanta Falcons will be looking for offers for Kirk Cousins. And I think Kirk Cousins could run this offense. So don't pay Tua. Don't pay Tua a ridiculous amount just because it's the market. Let it go, because if one of these teams don't put their foot down and just not pay these quarterbacks and reset the market, then we're going to be paying quarterbacks a ridiculous amount going into the future. So put the foot down now. I'd hate to see you go to hopefully you make the right decision and you don't ask for market money and you just ask for a paycheck and a Super Bowl, because you're on a Super Bowl winning team. Even if you don't win the division and you get into the playoffs this year, you're going to go to the Super Bowl, my guy. So let's do it. Anyway, so let's break their season down. So they're going to start in Miami against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence and company are going to come into town. We're going to give them a loss. We're going to stay in Miami for a Thursday night game against Buffalo. They're going to come in and they're going to get a loss. And then we're going to travel across the country to Seattle and Washington, and we're going to play Geno Smith. And Tua, whether he got his money or not, he's got something to prove, because if he got his money, he's playing for his contract. If he didn't get his money, he's playing for his next contract. So no matter what, it's good for the Dolphins, and he's going to produce because he's got the people around him. OBJ, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, who we just drafted, and I saved the best for last. Yes, Tyreek Hill. Don't forget Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, all these guys. Like, he's got the weapons to perform and have an MVP season, whether he gets paid or whether he doesn't get paid. So then he comes back home. He plays the Titans on a Monday night game. It's another Monday night game. Remember, last year, Monday night, Titans came into Miami and they beat us on a fluke. They came back and set a record against us, basically beat us within the last 11 seconds or it was stupid. I don't even want to go back and relive it. We're not going to let it happen again. Mike McDaniel is not going to let it happen again. Tua, Tyreek, all them company, they're not going to let it happen again. They're not going to come in on another Monday night and whoop up on us. So that's going to be a W. And then we go to the Patriots and we get a W. And then we have an early bye week. I was not a fan of this early bye week, but whatever. Here it is. We have a bye week, and then we go to Indianapolis. We play the Colts. We win there. We go back home for Kyler Murray and company to come, and we win there. So they start the season great. They're looking really great right now. They have a 7-0 start. And then they travel to Buffalo. And Buffalo's got their shit together by this point, and they're like, yo, you beat us the first time, but you're not beating us this time. And they whip up on the Dolphins. Then they travel to LA for the Rams. They win there. They go back home for 2 games. They play the Raiders and the Patriots. They win both of those. Easy games, like
the worst teams in the league.
Easy games. And then they go to Green Bay. And it's going to be cold, and it's not going to be fun. It's on Christmas. But last time that Tua played Green Bay, he had 35 points in the first half, and then he suffered a concussion and came out, and Aaron Rodgers just took off from there. I don't think that he's going to get injured this time. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be playing the full game, and it's going to be another high-scoring game, and Miami's going to come out with a win there. And then they come and they host the Jets. Are you kidding me? They host the Jets, and they suffer a fucking loss to Aaron Rodgers.
What are you going to do?
Unfortunately. And then they go to play the Texans, and they get another fucking loss.
2 losses in a row.
2 losses in a row for the Miami Dolphins at this point, but they get their stuff together. They're like, hey man, we're gonna not be in the playoffs if we keep it up. So they travel to San Francisco for a revenge game. Mike McDaniel versus Kyle Shanahan, protege versus teacher, and I think they lost the first time. Brock Purdy led. That's when Brock Purdy came out. It was Jimmy Garoppolo, and then Jimmy Garoppolo got injured, and Brock Purdy came out, and They were winning all the way up until Brock Purdy came out.
Started lighting up the football field.
It up. Anyways, Mike McDaniel's going to be definitely way more prepared for his second matchup against his old teacher. So he's going to have some tricks up his sleeve, and he's going to get the W there. And then they're going to travel to Cleveland for a cold weather game late in the season. And Tyreek Hill's, obviously, he's going to convince the team to go sleeveless again. You know, like, hey, let's go out there half naked and let's win this game.
Let's be cold.
They're going to have the right mentality this time in this cold weather game, and they are going to win. They're going to win in Cleveland. But then they're going to go on the road to the Jets for another cold weather game, and it's going to be too much. And they're going to lose that one. Ending their season at 13-4, making the playoffs, but not having the division.
It'll be a close one, though.
It'll be a close one. It will be a close one. 13-4. 13-4.
And that'll wrap up the AFC East with the Jets at the top with 14-3, Miami just right below them with 13-4, Buffalo sitting at 10-7, and the New England not so patriotic Patriots at 1-16.
And that wraps up the AFC in general.
Yeah, wraps up all of the AFC, doesn't it?
That wraps up all of the AFC. So based on this, I think we go ahead and we put the Chiefs at 14-3 as well, with the win over the Broncos, because now, based on it, they would need to win that last game no matter what. So that puts the Jets and the Chiefs at the top, fighting for number one seed. So let's check out their games. Similar games that you guys played. Let me break it down. Who would have the number one seed? They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Niners. Lost to the Texans. Holy shit. So you guys have that would give New York Jets number one seed. Chiefs second. Ravens third. Texans fourth. Miami fifth. And then I have to break down the last one. It would be either Buffalo, the Chargers, the Jaguars, or the Browns. Those are your top seeds, ladies and gentlemen, for the playoffs in the AFC.
Based off our predictions.
It's crazy, man. New York Jets going to take the number one seed? That's a hot take right there.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take. But it's possible. It's very possible. The team that Aaron Rodgers has around him right now, it is very possible that he goes and he just lights it up this year. The receiving core, the running backs, like the defense, like everything is in place. The only problem they have is their coach. But when you're Aaron Rodgers,
you coach the team yourself.
You coach the team. So
you coach the team yourself when you're Rodgers.
So they might not even have to worry about Robert Saleh. Aaron Rodgers is just gonna be like, you worry about the defense, you let me worry about the offense.
There you go.
We'll be okay.
You go over there and make sure Sauce Gardner has everything he needs and CJ Mosley's well hydrated, and I'll take care of the offense on this side.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the touchdowns, just worry about the prevent.
So it's going to be a very fun season. We'll get all these videos broken down and put out there. Don't forget, hit that link for that YouTube. Go make sure you subscribe to it so that you catch us. We'll get it next time so that we can stream from the actual YouTube. We tried to do it today, but we're rookies and we didn't know you had to set it up ahead of time.
Apparently, you need 24 hours to get permission to go live.
Yeah, so.
But that's okay, because we'll catch us on the next one for sure.
For sure. Is there anything else you want to do a hot take on or a short on?
Now you just want to add some like little mini clips or
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
little small edits. Shout outs.
Shout out. We would shout out Toaster, but he didn't do his part of the job, so we're not shouting him out. This is not a shout out to Toaster.
There's a reverse shout out to Not Toaster. He downloaded a couple of things for us, but he didn't put them in a file that I could find, so I have no idea where any of his work was. Appreciate it for trying, though. You know, A for effort, or E for effort.
E for effort.
E for effort. It's not an F. You know, hey. But let's see, what else can we throw in there? Moving on. Our hot take word, moving on. Okay. I mean, anything's possible. I did claim both the W's for the Jets this year. We've had a rough couple of seasons in the last few years. You guys have been getting both the W's for quite some time. I figure, you know, maybe this year's my turn. But we'll see. We'll see. Go Jets.
Go Fins! Well,
welcome to the AFC EASTIE boys. My name is Charlie Waffles, and this is Cat Near. We're here to help you and hope that you can get some good information from us on our predictions for this upcoming season. Check it out. Link in the description. Like and subscribe the video. Hopefully you can follow for more.
no, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, I still want to work on an intro video for us. But
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start with that. Like, I don't know if I want to, like, have us, like, kind of like how we, like, introduce it, or, like, just do it, like,
A voiceover.
yeah, just do it, like, straight animation, the whole thing. Can work on that another time.
Like how, what's his name, Fins Up did, where it, the
Yeah, it's like,
highlights in the background and it's just a voiceover with a little bit of music talking about or telling who we are and whatnot, and then
Yeah.
just it fades into us chilling.
yeah, pretty much. Alright, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for stopping by, hanging out. Peace out.
It's been fun.
Catch us on YouTube at AFC EASTIE Boys, all caps, no spaces, boys with a Z. Go